Hey, I'm Adam Countryman, and this is the Countryman Sessions, a podcast for artists inside, outside of ministry, and music of all types. You're listening to episode 1, On Time with Mr. Tyson. Sing the song!
Choose countryman. Choosing for your countryman. Got a question? Just ask him. As long as you don't sass him. Choose countryman.
Terrible.
So, yeah, as we were. I see we're all on time and early. Thank you. Ironically, the title of today's podcast, On Time with Mr. Tyson.
Well, I really needed more coffee today, so I was like, I gotta allow some time to get this coffee happening.
Oh, you mean you planned? Wait, we should save it for
I've been recording since you sat down. Don't worry about
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me tell you what else pisses me off.
Take you out back and show you what it's like. Today on the podcast is Tyson Sheth, otherwise known as Mr. Tyson. Mr. Tyson is a drummer, percussionist, all-around great musician, always the most prepared guy on the gig. Tyson, you are one of the more recorded drummers in the Houston area, and you've done a bunch of live work. What are some of the highlights that you would share with people who are listening today?
I am also the most recorded drummer in my house.
Oh, interesting.
The most recorded drummer in my house.
Yeah, well, that's something.
So, yeah, that's a big deal.
On the north side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my singular house.
In your house.
Yes.
Okay, so other than that, though.
Yeah.
Sessions with Mickey Gilley?
I have, yes. I've gotten to do that. Johnny Bush, a lot of older guard guys, and they're super cool.
But you're not like pigeonholed as a country drummer.
No, I ironically started doing a lot of country when I first started doing session work, which was funny because I never listened to country growing up.
This has nothing to do with the topic of the day, but I'm curious because a lot of drummers, in a lot of contexts, I see it a lot in the church, but then certainly on other gigs, they'll say like, I don't want to play country, country's stupid. Oh, country's easy, this whole thing. Like guitar players do it too, and they're the dumbest because playing really well in a country session or country, like that's amazing, these guys that play country guitar so well. But as a drummer, like you do these country things, like do you like begrudge that? Or do you look forward to it? Like, what do you like about that genre?
I like the feel. Like, I like to swing. I like to play in that feel.
Swing the drums.
To be clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like a country swing is so much fun.
Yeah. I don't want to get an email from your wife later being like, I learned so much on this podcast.
She's not going to listen to this.
That's true.
Yeah, I like to feel. I like any kind of project, any recording project is fun for me, almost no matter the genre or whatever, because I like to get cool sounds and I like to have a good feel, and that's.
Do you have a preference on studio versus live as a player?
I like studio. Probably live is a lot of fun. I don't dislike live. It's a different thing, but I really like taking somebody's song and trying to make it better, trying to make it as good as it can be.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. Yeah.
That's cool.
Experiment, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So full disclosure, Tyson and I play in a lot of different situations together, one of which is the Undercover Band here in Houston. Shameless plug. We'll travel. So feel free.
Yeah, we have.
Undercoverband.com, I think. The Undercover Band?
Undercover Band TX?
TX? Undercoverbandtexas.com. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Google Undercover Band Texas and then book us. We're very reasonably priced, and by that I mean it makes sense why it costs so much.
You'll see a picture of a guitar player that looks like John Depp.
Yeah, that's true. Johnny Depp
That's
fronts
what
our
you wanna
band.
look for, yeah.
Well, he's a Johnny Depp impersonator.
Yeah.
Better guitar player.
In a tuxedo.
So when did we first meet? We met, this was like back in 20...
I met you in late 2010.
10.
That's when I remember meeting you.
Yes, I think that's right.
And it was, I don't even know if we really had much of a conversation.
What were your first impressions of me?
I just remember playing on stage, and it was at River Point, and Chad was there, and he goes, "This is Adam. He plays bass, and he helps write charts once in a while." And you were kind of like, "Oh, hey." That's what I remember. And then we were playing.
Solid introduction.
Yeah. And you turned, we're playing, you turned, you kind of gave me the groove face. For those of you watching at home, I'm making a groove face. Could define that somehow.
We'll talk about that later.
And that's what I remember, like, you know, kind of the mutual, like, all right,
Yeah.
good. And then I don't know if we had much of a conversation for like another year after that. I think we probably played again or something.
Yeah.
But that was the first time. I remember that for some reason.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You had your modulus.
And we've been dating ever since.
I mean, yeah, one day we'll get married.
For the tax break.
Well,
Yeah.
naturally, you know.
So we're going to talk today about something that I think I value most about you as a professional, as a musician. And that is that you're always the most prepared guy on the stage. And I say that, and I've said this publicly. I've said, you know, everybody on a gig's replaceable except maybe Mr. Tyson. Not just because of your playing, but because of how well prepared you are. And it really helps me as a band leader rely on you when I didn't ask you to be relied upon in so many ways. So I appreciate that about you. But oftentimes we'll show up to a gig and it'll be me and Mr. Tyson. And that's it. For a long time. Like sometimes it's hours and it's just us. And we're like, I guess this is it. You know, and if we could do the whole gig, you know, fine. Yeah. We'll just do the whole gig. That's fine.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, it's just the two of us. So I've never shown up to a gig where you have been late. And there is one instance where I hate being late.
Is it because you were late too, and I was just less late?
And were you riding with me? No, I hate being late. And I remember coming to a gig recently, earlier this year. I don't remember. What year is it? And I got stuck, and I was like in this backup, this pileup. And I remember I was texting you and the band leader, and I was like sharing my location, and I felt so terrible about being late. It was the worst day. I still have nightmares a year later about that night. And I'm like, why didn't I leave 4 hours early? I should have known better. Like, and it just tore me apart to be late. Now, to be fair, for those of you listening at home, I was still like 2 hours before the gig started. It was just, I missed sound check.
You were not late for the gig by any stretch.
No.
You were actually still there before other people.
Which leads me to what I want to talk about. Why is it?
Why?
Why is it important to be on time? Aside from the obvious, which is that you're being paid to do this job, the job starts at this time, you should be there at that time. But from a musical perspective, from a professionalism perspective, like, why do you take such value in being on time?
Like you, it makes my skin crawl and makes me very angry to not be on time. And I think that was...
angry at yourself.
Angry at myself, angry at the world, just usually angry at other drivers. No, I was lucky that I had a great music program in school growing up. And...
Is this grade school?
I guess this would be like middle school, high school.
Okay.
And it was instilled in us, being on time was instilled in us like a lot. And I think that kind of stayed with me, and it seemed very obvious too. Like, why wouldn't you be?
Right.
You know? And there were consequences if you weren't. There are not always consequences
That's true.
in the real world for that. But there were, and that I think that's stuck with me. And then just getting like positive feedback, positive reinforcement for being on time, for being prepared. Like, oh, this is a good thing. This is a thing people appreciate. We should keep doing this. This is good. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. As a drummer, you have to show up early because you have to set up all your crap.
True.
Right, and you have a lot to load in, and you have to do all that stuff. However, not all drummers do that. And certainly those who seem to play the smaller of instruments or no instruments at all are often very late, which we'll talk about in just a second. But tell me, do you have a story about like the time when you were like, as professional as you are, you were like, I'm going to lose it. Like, I can't believe like somebody was so late that you're like, this is it, right? Like, this is too much.
Well, Adam, tardiness is no laughing matter.
Oh, so true. Write that down. Somebody tweet that. Exit. Brexit. Oh, this is not a political podcast.
Better edit that out. Edit point. I keep clearing my throat.
Yeah.
And snorting. Like that. Is that a segment too? Oh, wow. What did you ask me?
Your funny story or a story that you remember about somebody being late.
Oh, a funny story. I mean, I've been on...
Or a story that like made you so angry. Like something that's stuck with you.
Well, it's funnier when it's not really happening to me, I guess. But, I mean, I've been on fly dates where people have... Like, you're about to board the plane and you get a message from somebody and they're like, hey, where's the best place to park? And I'm like, you're going to miss the plane, man. Like, and they do. Miss the plane.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Like, what goes through their head when they're leaving the house?
I have no idea.
How do you...
I can't...
it's just such a different world. I can't even fathom the idea of being like, oh, my flight's in an hour. Guess I should start packing. Like, that doesn't occur to me.
No, I don't know. I can't explain that. You'll have to have a different guest to iron that out, I guess.
It's baffling. I would like to speculate wildly with you as to what this might be. I don't think it's drugs.
No,
like I don't think it's drugs or alcohol.
Everyone seems sober, I think, when that happens.
Yeah. We interrupt this program for a message from today's designated ad correspondent, Lou Lowenstein.
Hey there, boys and girls. It's your main mensch, Lou. Do you struggle with the growing pains associated with stringed instrument callus development? I know I sure do. Picture this. You take your beloved stringed instrument out of its case for the first time in, I don't know, a good year or 12. You tune up, play for an hour, and suddenly you're overcome with crippling phalangeal agony. Your tunnels are absolutely coupled. Oi, say it with me, vey. That's why you need Lou's Soothing Schmaltz. This product is unlike any other callus treatment you may have come across. It is free range, non-HMO, kosher, and completely recycled from what would otherwise be waste material. Not only does Lou's Soothing Schmaltz soften and heal calluses, it also relieves finger tension, which can cause arthritis, tendinitis, or any other itis. It's a full-service jointment. So don't wait. Buy Lou's Soothing Schmaltz today wherever schmaltzes are sold for the low price of $19.99. And good luck getting your change now that there's no more pennies. Good Yantif.
I was at an event this morning called Grandparents' Day, which I think is ridiculous in and of itself. Like, if you're a grandparent, wouldn't you rather sleep in? Who does Grandparents' Day in the morning? You've worked your whole life. You get to the point where you can sleep in. You don't care anymore. You're too old to care. And we say, show up at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Now, I get, like, some old people, they're up, right? Like, they get up at the crack of dawn. They're used to the rooster thing or whatever they grew up with out on the farm or whatever. I know that the only people in McDonald's before 6 a.m. are over the age of 75. But the point remains, you're doing it in the morning. Like, if you're old enough to not have to work, why do you want to get up? And then they pour in droves. Like, you haven't seen your grandkids? They're all wearing sweaters. It's 85 degrees outside in Houston. Here they come, all sweaters on. The air conditioner broke. They're complimenting us on how great it feels in the room. I don't understand the perfume either. At a certain age, as an elderly woman, are there different perfumes? Like, is there a counter in the mall? Or, like, does Clinique do, like, you know, oh, smell like you'll smell for the rest of your life? At some point, you're like, what is this perfume? And they all wear it. And then it comes in. And if the air conditioner's broke, like it was this morning, it fills the sky. And you're like, I can't even breathe in here. and the husbands just go along to get along. Maybe it's because at a certain age you can just close your eyes wherever you are and fall asleep because you stopped caring about everything. It's like that Chris Farley skit where it's like all day long she talks and the women are in there just gabbing away. The old men sleeping on the park bench. Like, it is the worst. And I don't understand why we have to tailor to it. It's like, hey, if you're old, come in here for this thing. Where's a bunch of other old people? And stereotypically, we played bingo. Why would you play bingo? Like, at what point do old people go, you know what we should do? We should get together. We'll play cards, and we'll call them stupid names, like Mahjong, or what's the other stupid one that starts with a C? Canasta. I'm like, is that with dice? It sounds like a dice game. No, it's a card game. Oh, really? How come you play canasta? Well, I'm the treasurer. Oh, you have a treasurer for canasta? Well, yeah, how else are you supposed to have regulations? And they all come in, and we're like, why don't we play bingo? You want to listen to some Sinatra? It's like we pigeonhole everybody into this thing. Like, after a certain age, it's like, here, just do the old people thing. When I'm old, not that I'm going to live long enough to go to a Grandparents' Day celebration, although maybe I will, but I'm not going. I don't care how much I love my grandkids, and I loved my grandparents to heaven and back, but you're not getting me into a room with 300 other old people that smell like formaldehyde waiting to play bingo for 2 hours of my day. I worked my whole life to get here. Forget it. Grandkids, no grandkids, I don't care. I'm not going. In my opinion, the worst offenders of being on time, tardiness, missing things are by far singers. Nor, again, just my personal experience here. Horn players, maybe a close second, although some of them are weird and show up early just to hang out and talk about the band meal. And I love horn players. But Mr. Tyson, and you're always, if I'm not on the gig, like you're the only one there early, you know, what do you recognize? Like, do you see this being a trend with different instruments or different people? Is it more related to their instrument they play? Like, is there a stereotype that you've seen over the years?
I mean, obviously, the less gear you have, the later you need to be there. I mean, you're not loading in, setting up, whatever. I think but I don't know. I think there are certainly, I think it's easier to be an offender if you don't need to be there early for logistical reasons.
So that brings up a good point, and that is call time versus downbeat time. When you see somebody ask you for a call time, like call time is this, downbeat time is this, how do you define that?
May I share a funny downbeat story?
Please.
You know how much of a sports fan I am.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Extraordinarily sport.
Right. Very sport oriented.
I also love the album Sports.
I identify as a sport.
Right.
So my daughter is in band in middle school. Recently, there was an email for some before school rehearsals, and it said, please arrive at this time because we would like to downbeat at this time. And I said this to her, and she said, what's a downbeat? Which she'd never heard the term, probably.
How old's your daughter?
11.
Yeah.
And she said, what is that, like kickoff?
Ooh.
And I laughed because she had no idea of the irony of her saying that. So we talked about what downbeat was, and yeah, now she knows what a downbeat is.
Is that like kickoff?
Yeah. What was your question? I got lost in my story that was mediocre funny to me alone, probably.
How do you define call time versus downbeat?
In my mind, call time is when you have to be there. If somebody gives you a call time, that's when you show up and you walk in. Downbeat is when you want to start playing the first note. Like downbeat, if downbeat is 11 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, somebody counts in a song and you start.
So when somebody says to you, sound checks at 5,
yeah,
we start playing at 6:30.
Yeah.
If sound checks at 5, is that downbeat?
Yeah, I would consider that downbeat.
Why don't most people?
I don't know. I consider that like figure out how much time you need to be ready to play or sing or whatever at that time.
So the common argument I hear all the time, and this is especially true in bands that play a lot out or in church bands or things, is like, well, I know it's 8 o'clock is the call time, but no one's ever ready. So I'm just going to start showing up at 8:15 because that seems to be when things start to get going. And for some reason, that's acceptable to people, that they self-designate when that is. So how do you combat that? Or do you?
I think that can be that is certainly a slippery slope because you start to think, well, why am I here? Nothing's happening. Why am I here? And I've seen that happen. I've been on gigs where that's happened consistently, and it's happened by the people who are supposed to be in charge of the gig. So then you're really like, well, why am I here? They're not even here.
So what do you think we should do with those people who are late for punishment? Like a medieval torture chamber, tie your wrist to the back of the car and drive around the block, or something less severe?
I like your restraint of using the wrist. The Iron Maiden, I hear, is coming back.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You could do the James Brown thing. You could cut your... What do you cut? $5. Yeah, $5 for wrong notes. You just, something like that, I guess. But I honestly, I don't see a whole lot of consequences. I feel like for some people, and on the other hand, I've gotten gigs or I've gotten calls because people are tired of somebody who's either late or unprepared or not doing the right thing for that gig or whatever, and people get fed up. And it's like on the other hand, yeah, I guess there are consequences.
Have you found that a lot of musicians are passive about this? So they go, well, so and so's so good that when they show up, they slay it and it's amazing. So we put up with it. But then after a while, instead of having that hard conversation that says, hey, you really need to be on time, they just stop calling them. So don't hire so and so because that's annoying. Let's call Tyson instead. He'll be on time. He'll be great. Enough is enough. But they never have the conversation. So then that next gig that next guy gets, he's late to that gig too because no one ever told him. Now, granted, you shouldn't have to tell somebody you're losing this gig because you are lazy and stupid. But here they are. I feel like part of me always wanting to be on time is making up for any ineptitudes I have musically. So I'm always, at least I'm on time.
Yeah.
There are better bass players, but at least I'm here and I'm prepared as best I can. And I feel like if I'm late and I miss a bunch of things, well, that just doubles up. And but I do think that's where the tolerance comes in too. If somebody's late and they suck, it's a lot easier to cut them loose.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting. It's the people who are often the best at what they're doing. And I think this goes especially, again, for singers. If they know they can show up and kill it, and the audience is going to love it, or the church falls in love with them, then I can be late because it doesn't really matter. I'm still going to bring it when the time comes.
Yeah.
But if they were bad, maybe there's something there with the ego or the confidence level.
Yeah, for me, it's also a stress thing too. I can be really stressed out and I can make it hectic on myself, or I can show up in a venue and probably in 15-20 minutes really be set up and ready to do something, but I'll get there an hour early because I don't want to be rushed. I'd rather sit in the parking lot for an hour than be 5 minutes late. Yeah, and it's for me.
A mutual friend of ours, Dave Madden, said to me once, or maybe he was talking to a group and I just overheard it, but it stuck with me. And he said, it doesn't take 5 minutes to do anything. He's like, it doesn't take don't tell me it's 5 minutes away. Don't tell me you'll be here in 5 minutes. 5 minutes does not exist. Erase it from your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Forget 5 minutes. It's not a real measurement of time. And I thought, that's brilliant, right? You're up in the hotel, there's a lobby call, and you're like, well, I just have to ride the elevator down. It'll take me 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
Leave 10 or more because you never know. How much time would you say, let's take the church gig, for instance. On a church gig, right? Let's say there's 4 or 5 songs in the set on that given Sunday. And maybe this is a church gig you don't normally do. So how long would you spend preparing for that gig? And can you kind of give us an insight into what it's like to be the most prepared guy on stage? What do you do to get ready for that gig?
Let's say any gig. This is any gig.
Okay.
If I have, okay, let's say it's a gig. I have recordings of some kind, demos produced, and I think this is anything, a studio session, live, whatever. If there's a fully recorded version that we're playing, we're covering, performing, whatever, or a demo, we're creating something, I'm gonna listen to that. Obviously, I'm gonna make notes, be it a chart. Maybe there's already a chart, then I'm gonna make notes on that. I'm gonna make my own, just so I don't have to think on the gig. I can just play. If it's a reading, if it's a reading gig where that's fine, great. If it's a gig where it's frowned upon, which it doesn't look cool to play a hard rock set with your with your charts there. I mean, Kenny Aronoff can pull that off, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And then I will spend whatever weeks leading up to it just listening to things on repeat constantly, and I'll still make charts, but I learn visually, so I will look at them and repeatedly, and I will play and that kind of thing. A lot of gigs you don't have that kind of time. They're playing like a lot of church gigs, a lot of undercoverbandtx.net.com gigs. Maybe there's a couple of new tunes we're gonna do, but we find out about it like 3-4 days before, because that's how that world works.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of thing. I do what I can, make sure I can play the song well, and read whatever notes chart that I have or that I've made for myself in that way, and kind of just know the song, know what the genre's doing. If it is a style that I'm not super versed in or whatever, like I'm gonna do a little bit of background, a little bit of research, just be like, okay, what's appropriate for this, or why am I playing it this way, or something like that.
Right.
And none of that takes a lot of time, honestly. Like, and not spending a ton of time. You can really hash all that out pretty quickly. After the kids go to bed, I'll spend an hour, whatever, or something like that. Like it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do something that when you get to the gig is so valuable to the band leader or the singer or something like that. It doesn't take much to me. I don't know.
One of the things I've always appreciated about you in your preparation is always knowing the tempo of the song, which seems like a no-brainer in one respect, but the amount of times that I'm like, hey, what's the tempo on this? Or count this in, and the drummer looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, this is like your main job, like your whole thing. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, are you going to count it in? No, you're the drummer. You count it in. At least tap it, and then I'll count it in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But like, I'm trying to think of like the song that we're doing, the next song that's coming up. When's this guy coming up? Is this guy going to talk? What is this like? Is the sound ready? Are we using stems? Is this the thing? And so when we call a song or the song comes up and I'm like, what's this? And they look at me like I'm the crazy one for not knowing. That's one thing I appreciate about you all the time. So if you're a drummer and you want to make your band leader or worship leader or whoever happy, know the tempo of the song. Like just write it down. Write it on your hand. Better yet, program a click, so that you have a click ready to go when the computer doesn't work and you have to go back to native click, which is a whole other thing. What do you say to drummers who say, I don't play the click, man. Like I play real music, like just by feel and stuff. Click is it's too restraining. I don't like it. I do like real stuff, like real music, because I hear that all the time.
Yeah. That's weird. In this day and age, it seems like that would be less common. But just given the how social media, if you're a social media drummer and you're doing a lot of that, I feel like you are on click all the time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hear that much, because I feel like the gigs that I do aren't usually the gigs that those people are doing.
I'm going to get emails. I'm going to get emails right now from somebody who's like, I don't use a click and I'm a better drummer. And like, I think it goes back to ignorance. They just don't understand. Like how in the world is that an argument worth having is beyond me.
Well, the idea is to be able to do both. The idea is control of your time, controlling the time. If there's a click, you are on it. you're ahead of it, you're behind it, whatever's appropriate. Sometimes it's not appropriate to be right on it.
And don't
But-
you find? I mean, I find as a basis, like the click lends security. It's a safety net. It's less of a mandate and more of a, hey, you're speeding up. Hey, you're slowing down. Like if I can hear the click, we're not on the click,
Right.
right? Like the phrase "bury the click,"
Yeah.
which we use a lot in the studio, or I have. I don't know. Maybe that's not a common phrase. But
I've never heard that. No, I'm just kidding.
oh man, I was like, well, I was way off.
First I heard of it.
Yeah. No, I just think that it's a great safety net for whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not a big guy who says like, let's go use stems on everything and
Yeah.
all these backing tracks. Like, I don't prefer that, but I do like click.
Yeah.
I've learned to loathe the lady on stems who tells me what's coming next because I just don't like her.
It's fun when she's in Spanish, though. I do like that.
In Spanish is great, mostly because I don't speak Spanish, and so the only word I know is coro when she calls coro, and I'm like, I'm gonna assume that means chorus. But yeah, every other word I'm like, I guess I'll just wait until the chord changes, and then I'll figure it out, you know. But yeah, what do you do if you're like, let's say you're late, right? Like the worst has happened and you're like, I'm not going to make it
Yeah.
at the time that I would normally be there. Now, you're never going to, God willing, miss the downbeat, but you're later than you would like to be, and you know it's going to hold things up a little bit because of whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do in the moment when you're like, I'm going to be late?
I mean, if I know, let's say it's traffic, if just, you know, I live.
Can I also say that traffic's not an excuse?
Right.
Do you know the amount there was traffic? You're kidding me. There was traffic in the fourth largest city in the country. There was traffic. Oh, really? Oh, there was traffic in Nashville? That's unheard of. I can't believe there was. If only there was a device that would tell you the traffic before it was time to leave, or an alert that said like, alert me when it's time to go.
Yeah.
If only those things existed.
Alarms, things like that.
I feel like we were more on time before all those things. Anyway, I digress.
Well, you know, they get you with the cell phones.
They get you. Yes, Lethal Weapon 2.
It's a family show, right?
Not safe for work.
Yeah.
Scene.
This show's a family show, right?
This is a semi-family show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Is this a family? It's a family show.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. For now. For now it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, invite me back when it's not a family show, please.
We'll see if that Spotify deal comes through. Then we'll go with it. So what do? You're late.
Okay, so I live way outside of town. I'm driving to town, leave enough time. You know, I look at that. I use the device that you're talking about. It's like, okay, it's going to take an hour. It's going to take an hour. It's going to take an hour. I'm watching. And then all of a sudden, it's going to take 2 hours. Like, oh, crap. Oh, darn? Should I say darn?
No, crap's okay.
Okay, crap's okay.
Crap's fine.
Craps. There's nothing I can do about it. Or I'm fine, I'm driving, I encounter 3 accidents. That's literally happened before. Right. 3 brand new accidents on the way to a gig. I know pretty far ahead, because I'm still using the device, the aforementioned device. You know, I'll let the band leader, whoever, hey, I'm sorry. This is what, you know, but it's usually going to cost me 20 minutes or something like that. It's still, because, as we talked about earlier in this show, I don't want to be stressed out, so I'm leaving myself an hour to do 15-20 minutes of work, so I'm not going to miss the gig. I am very upset, of course, because that's how I am, and I'm saying all kinds of curse words to the people around me.
Yeah. As one does.
Well, when in Rome, I'm doing that right now in my head. No, I love you guys.
We appreciate your filter.
Yes. No. Yeah, I just, you know.
So communication.
I try and do as much as that as I can. Sometimes I'm just late. I just, you know, I screw up. Having kids was a game changer for me, and I really had to figure that out for a while.
I was so on time before I had kids.
Yeah.
Like everywhere and everything, I was on time. Now I have kids, and it's like I have to intentionally know, okay, kids, we'll take an extra 20 minutes at least.
Yeah.
If they're going somewhere with me, we're late.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And this is, not a knock on my kids, but they don't know yet.
Yeah.
They haven't learned this yet. So I'm like, okay, I can't say we got to leave at 7:15. I'm like, at 6:45. I'm like, okay, put your shoes on.
Right.
We got to start the.
Where are my shoes?
What are shoes?
Yeah.
So yeah, and we're learning. But even when they were little and they didn't know couldn't care about being late, pooping in their pants or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just the act of these other things were different for me.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got I'm leaving the house for a gig, not even somewhere with my kids. But there are things that go on all of a sudden, whereas before I can do whatever I want and I can twiddle my thumbs for 20 minutes and then get in the car and leave. That's a game changer.
So on the topic of just overall professionalism, being prepared, we've talked about that. We've talked about knowing the tunes, knowing the tempos, all of those things, being on time. Are there other things that we need to think about, at least from a drummer's perspective, on being a professional? Like, you're seen as a professional drummer. What are some of the other things that come to mind when you think of like, well, this is part of being a professional?
All of that stuff, plus having the right gear and sounds for the gig. I wouldn't bring, my bop kit to a rock gig, for example. It's not, having the right sounds, and that goes for any guitar player or anybody.
What about the attitude on a gig? Like, I encounter this from time to time. We like to say a lot, like, it's got to be a good hang, right?
Yeah.
The 3 reasons to take a gig. If you haven't heard these before, it's the money, the connections, and it's a good time. Those are the 3 reasons, right?
Yeah.
So it's fun, it pays really well, or I'm going to get something out of it later. Another gig or a better paying gig or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So, and I think that goes for every gig, whether even if you're volunteering at your church, it's gotta have one of those 3 things. Otherwise, you're just not going to show up and do it week after week or whatever the case is. So your attitude on those gigs, have you encountered times where you're like, yeah, the music was great, but this guy's attitude was terrible. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that plays a part in professionalism.
Yeah, I don't encounter a whole lot, and I'm guilty for sure. Like, I've been late, I've missed a downbeat before, for sure. It's happened. I've had a bad attitude for whatever reason. I don't have a spotless record, is not what I'm saying, but I think I notice good attitudes more than I don't come across as many people with a actual bad attitude, because I think they just don't work that much. I think there are more consequences for that than actually like being late. If we're talking about that earlier, because if you're just genuinely unpleasant the whole time, like that's far less tolerable, I think, to most people.
So it's safe to say, if you're listening to this and you're not working a lot, maybe you're a jerk.
Maybe
it's you.
Maybe the jerk store called.
And they're running out of you. And we're going to get sued by Seinfeld.
Well, then we've made it. I'm rooting for you to get sued by all kinds of people, because then you'll know. There's a list.
We've made it. What about overplaying?
Yeah, okay. So you asked me, and we talked about all the kinds of professionalism, we said sounds, having the right sounds and equipment for a gig or a style, but yet playing appropriately, for sure. There are gigs when you actually want to kind of overplay. I've been asked to overplay before, and I think it's better to be asked to overplay than to play less. For me, for most of what I do, it comes from a vocal music context. I am not doing crazy fusion gigs, as fun as that would be. It doesn't come across my plate.
And you like to make money.
Well, true. I'm not Dave Weckl, so yeah, I want to make money. I think it's like you come at it from a standpoint of like, I'm not doing this to glorify myself. I'm doing this to glorify the song, to frame the singer, frame the lead instrument, because I want to work again.
Right.
I want to do it again.
You want to get called back.
I do. I want to get called back. I like doing it.
Which is why you're generally pleasant.
Well, yeah, right.
Also,
Try to be, yeah. And it just, I've come in the last, we all have our attitude ups and downs in this world, but the last few years I have come to a very high appreciation of getting to do this thing that we do
yeah,
with people who, 99% of the time I am with people who I like, who are very good at music, have good attitudes. I was recently having an issue just with someone's logistics. They're super nice, whatever, but just their logistical skills were not what I have fortunately become accustomed to for people like yourself. You have spoiled me. That's countrymanconsulting.com. And I was talking about it to my wife, and she very rightly pointed out that most of the time the people I work with are the opposite of that. She's like, you most of the time work with like some of the best people around, in the city, in the country at times. Like, she's like, you don't deal with this generally. And I was like, you're right. And just, I don't know, it kind of piled on the appreciation. But I show up to a gig and it's, a freaking wedding from 10 to 2 or something, but it's like, yeah, I'm here, I'm making money playing the freaking drums,
right?
And that's great. I never would have imagined that as a kid. I never thought that was possible as a kid. I didn't know any better. I just knew I liked playing music. I went to a Todd Sucherman masterclass here in town this summer.
He is the master
of class.
Yeah.
And
if you don't know Todd Sucherman, he's amazing, but most notably has been the drummer for Styx since the mid-'90s, I think, is when he started.
So. That sounds right.
I seem to recall seeing him on the Arch Allies tour in 1997. Todd, can you fact check that for me? St. Louis, Missouri, REO Speedwagon, Styx. I was on the lawn. Do you remember me? Hello?
Yeah, and one of the things that he said, and I love listening to people at that level talk. I love listening to them play, and that's very inspiring, but I love listening to them talk, and it often reaffirms things like a lot of what we're talking about now. Like, a guy like that will talk about being early. Like, you're there and you're ready to go and you're waiting on everyone else, like that kind of a thing, and being prepared and knowing the music and all the things that we've just talked about. People at the highest level do that, and that's so reaffirming. But what he said to me, which is why I brought this up, or not to me, to everyone, why I brought this up, was how, and he used the word sacred, how sacred it is, playing music, that we get to play music for 2 people or 20,000 people or whatever, and we've done those gigs and anything in between, and it's like you're there and you're playing music with other people for people, and it's like, how great is that?
Yeah.
And the word sacred stuck with me.
That is easy to overlook a lot of times. And I would say, too, if you're a band leader or a worship director or a music director of any kind, the most comments I get from musicians, on a weekly basis, almost, I think it's fair to say, are people saying, thank you for communicating this. Thank you for telling me where to park. Thank you for telling me what the set list is, or what to expect, or what the attire is, or what it pays. Like, so many times we'll get asked, can you do this gig? And it's like, we have to ask, like, well, I would love to, but what is it? It gets all weird.
Yeah.
That's why if I make the ask, typically, if I know, then I'll just communicate that up front. Do you want to do this gig? It's a 5 p.m. call time, 7 o'clock show time. It pays $400, and it's a 90-minute set, or whatever the case is.
Right.
So if you're in the position of being the band leader, music director, worship director, whatever, the more communication, the better. People can always delete your text or always delete your email. On this level of professionalism, I'd also like to throw out...
I know where you're going.
Text messaging is not a professional form of communication. It is more acceptable than Facebook Messenger or direct messaging on Instagram. And if you send me a message on TikTok, I am not going to respond. But at some point, we've lost the thread in reality that texting is somehow an official thing. That is not official. The only official form of communicating via text is, hey, I sent you an email. Please check it. Like, I don't know when we got away from email being like, only old people email. No, that was almost my Donald Trump voice.
Oh, wow.
But there's no way. Like, there's no way that can be considered official. It can be a day of communication. It can be a, hey, remember this. Hey, there was a change here. But the initial ask, the initial thing should be email. Who wants to scroll down on their text messages? And then the stupid Android users or the people that haven't updated their iPhone OS, and it's like, so-and-so liked this, so-and-so liked that. So, oh, my God. Enough already. Like, enough is enough. They get you with the cell phones.
They do get you with the cell phones. I'm glad you went after the iPhone people, too, because you were about to lose half your audience, I think. Yeah.
No, first of all, I don't think it's half the audience. But second of all, but you're right. Like, there's a moment there of like, and I am to the point where I know who has not updated their iPhone or who has an Android, and I will do a text to them separately. So I'm like, I don't want the mess, you know.
You're really putting in the work.
But all my texts are check your email. So it's pretty easy to copy and paste, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where that is. I want to end today. Just tell us, if you would, like, who are some of your favorite drummers to listen to? Who are some of your inspiration? You know, if there's new drummers coming up, if there's people that are just getting started or those who are looking for new inspiration, like, who are the guys that you're like, this is it? Like, this cat right here. Like, this is who I go to as, like, for me as a bassist, it's Nathan East. And as a bassist singer, it's Sting, Paul McCartney, you know, these kind of guys, right? I also love Lee Sklar, obviously, and then there's all the legends. But as a drummer, like, who are those people for you?
Yeah, and by the way, I really hope that you do get sued by Nathan East. I'm rooting for you.
Look, if it means I can talk to him, I'm down. Like, if that's what it's like, I would love nothing more than a chance to just sit and talk to Nathan East, even if it's about him suing me. Like, I'm okay with it. You know,
I would love to be there.
Maybe we'd leave as friends.
I think you would.
I know it makes me sound like a stalker.
He seems so nice.
He does.
I don't think he would sue you.
I hope not.
No.
Don't sue us, Nathan. That's my defense.
That's the tagline of the show. Don't sue us, Nathan.
Yeah, the end.
That's it.
Go ahead. Who do you listen to?
Growing up, I was big Genesis fan. Phil Collins, loved that. Learned a lot. Neil Peart, heavily. A lot of people wouldn't expect me to say this about him, but I really learned how to frame vocals from his playing. He's very good at that, like punching up certain lyrics, phrases, things like that. And I took that with
Maybe
me.
because he wrote all the lyrics too.
Well, when in Rome. I mentioned Todd Zuckerman, and I love Gavin Harrison, Steve Smith. Just the sound that some of those guys get out of their drums is amazing. Just the tone is beautiful. It's just very pleasant to listen to. Yeah, a lot of those guys. Vinny, of course. Vinny, he's like a recording idol, kind of, because he can just do everything. Hall & Oates, Bryan Adams, Sonic Temple, Cult. Big fan of the Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
Which is really the bread and butter
of
any drummer.
That's what you need. If you can get through it without laughing.
Yeah. If you can bring the Boone family and a couple Motown fills in, I mean, you're hired.
Yeah.
Well, man, I really appreciate you doing this. Thanks for showing up today. Thanks for being early, and you brought coffee. So really, above and beyond, as always. I'll Venmo you for the coffee or something. I feel bad.
It's a podcast warming gift.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. It is episode 1, On Time with Mr. Tyson.
Choo, choo, choose, countryman. Choo, choo, choosing for your countryman. Got a question? Just ask him. As long as you don't sass him.